Well, Bev, I think the answer to that question depends very much on who you ask. From Israel's perspective, it says that it launched these attacks on what it says were Hamas military targets in Gaza in response to the launch of what it calls these incendiary balloons. They're essentially gas-filled balloons that are launched and go over the border into southern Israel and start fires. And they say that that was the reason that they struck targets. That sort of tactic has been used by militants in the past in Gaza, but it did stop during the ceasefire. But from Palestinians' point of view, and certainly from Hamas, it says that the provocation for this latest conflict was the approval of this far-right demonstration, which was held right out the front of the Muslim quarter of the Old City in East Jerusalem. The far-right protesters came there, they were chanting, waving flags, and some of them were calling death to Arabs. Now, Hamas had said previously that if the march went ahead, it would be viewed as a provocation. It actually launched these balloons preemptively. But I think, you know, when you look at what's happened here in the last month or so, it's been these sorts of incidences, and I guess it shows the sensitivities around East Jerusalem, which of course many Palestinians hope might be the capital of their future state. We saw police raiding the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. We saw similar marches, and there's the ongoing threat that some Palestinians may be removed from their homes in East Jerusalem. Those sorts of factors did lead to this latest 11 days of conflict, and I think many of them remain unresolved. So there's not a lot of hope that this relative peace will last.
Yeah, because you could see in some of the pictures that we've been showing, Nick, this tension between both sides. Things have calmed down a little, but are we expecting things to settle and this to now just be an isolated incident in regard to that fragile ceasefire?
Yeah, I think that is the hope, and I think it is promising at least that we haven't seen sustained airstrikes from Israel. It was fairly contained to the early hours of the morning, and we haven't seen any continue throughout the day. Likewise, we haven't seen any further launches of these balloons into southern Israel that we know of. So I guess that is some good news, but there is, you know, still great tension on the ground. Just in the last few hours, a Palestinian woman was shot dead in the occupied West Bank in Jericho. Israeli police say that she had tried to ram them in a car and that she was then brandishing a knife. So, yeah, no more signs of airstrikes, but still a lot of tension on the ground in the Palestinian territory.
And Nick, how might this further violence jeopardise that very fragile coalition that has just taken office and it's literally days old?
Yeah, they are under enormous pressure, Bev. It's just about two and a bit days that they've been in office, and already they are trying to deal with this. So when you look at the new Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, he's a far-right politician, he's a former Defence Minister, and he has previously spoken of his wish to annex the West Bank. He says that he doesn't think a Palestinian state should exist. And so all eyes will be on what he does next and whether he does push for more military action in Gaza. Having said that, we are seeing this kind of diverse coalition find its voice. There are more centrist politicians, left-wing and Arab politicians in this new coalition as well. And in the last day or so, we've seen them trying to bring the tension down. We heard from Yair Lapid, for example. He's the centrist leader in this coalition, and he has condemned the actions of some of the demonstrators in East Jerusalem overnight, saying that people calling out death to Arabs really are completely incompatible with Judaism and incompatible with Israeli values. So I think everyone is hoping that this new coalition can try to take those tensions down a notch. But yeah, it's not looking very promising, just less than 3 days into a new government, and already we're seeing more conflict.
Indeed. Nick Dole, we'll keep an eye on this. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Beth.